Hey, good?
You had a big old on me. Can't focus on their stuff in my pockets. All right, we're gonna be amped with this lit, dude. Me. What's up, guys? Coach Beef here. We're going to be going through our first episode of Beefing Up, the Assistant Director of Sports Performance, Sean McDuffie here at Fresno State. How you doing today, Sean?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. Sean's my guy. I really appreciate him, taking the time to do this. It's actually pretty busy out here today. We got all kinds of things going on, so appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome.
So first off, I just want to get a little bit on your background. Tell us a little bit about you, like what got you into strength and conditioning. Tell us your story a little bit.
Absolutely. So like pretty traditional route as far as like strength and conditioning coaches go. Started off actually wanting to do PT. Started working in PT and quickly found out not for me. Wanted to be in like a little bit more high performance, work with people who can do a lot, have a lot of bandwidth for movement and power and strength. Quickly got into college strength conditioning, started working at Cal State Northridge as my first internship. Already had my CSCS going out of college, so I was able to get handed a lot of responsibilities pretty quickly. So I was running tennis, water polo, and cross country while I was at CSUN, and then COVID happened. So quick audible. Had a lot of schools, especially down in LA, were open and available to have interns. It was mandatory staff only. So I moved more into the private sector. Started working at Academy down in SoCal, wanted to move up to NorCal. Heard that story. That's for another time. But started working with Gen Pop and started getting back into working with athletes. Lead athletic performance was where I got my start in sports science. For
Shout
the most
out
part.
to Blair.
Shout out Blair. Was there for a while. Got in on the ground floor. Three to 6 months into them opening up. And we wanted to run one of the highest level sports performance models in the area. Myself being from LA, Blair also being from LA. We saw sports academies, the Proactives, and the different private facilities down there, and knew that there was a hole in Northern California that for the high school athlete that wanted to train like a Division I athlete. So started getting into force plates, GPS, VBT, all that kind of stuff, and be able to take those products and make them commercially available to these high school athletes that were dying for that niche and that high level of training that just wasn't there. And then actually had my second college internship here at Fresno State. Wanted to see how things were done at the highest level, which was Division I. For as NorCal goes, it was the only school that had a sports performance internship available to me. I was making that commute twice a week.
From Sacramento
down to here. It takes what it takes. You got to do what you got to do.
And I thought I was tough driving from Merced to Fresno, and then he's out here.
It was twice a week, but still was able to learn a lot, learn how they do things. It's very different working with 6 to 8 athletes and the way that you program for that and the way that you plan things out for that versus having 100 athletes total, 50 athletes at a time. So being able to think on your feet, be able to keep things basic was a need. And then I got an internship with the Sacramento Kings. There for a week during summer ball and quickly asked, like, how do I get back to this point? It was the highest level I've been at, probably the highest level I will be at.
I don't think so. I've got faith in you.
But quickly found out, okay, if I want to get back to this point, need to work in college athletics, probably need a master's. Got a GA ship at Mercer University down in Georgia, moved across the country, was there for 6 months, got a call from Ward, didn't say no, came back, and I've been here January of 25 ever since.
Wow.
And so been here, been promoted a couple times now. I'm now the, like he said, assistant director here at Fresno State. Primarily running the sports science, but still have a big spot in coaching. I think that's what I found out my niche is. I do love the sports science aspect of things, but just being able to build those relationships with athletes, being able to be a part of their entire journey, not just collect some data and then sit behind a computer. Being able to have it being applied, being able to show them, hey, here's what we're seeing on our lasers, here's what we're seeing on our GPS, this is what we're seeing on our 1080, and then be able to put that into practical terms that they're going to see on the football field.
Exactly. Wow, that's cool. So you did a total, it sounds like 3 different internships, and then a GA. You were GA, right?
So I went
to count that up right.
For the most part. I went to Chico State, small school up in Northern California, about an hour and a half north of Sacramento. When I was there, small Division II school, didn't have a strength coach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so for the young guys watching, if you're getting into stuff like bigger schools with bigger built-out strength conditioning programs, are a help, not required. So I was able to, I knew I wanted to do this, knew I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach, so just found the best resource available to me. For me, that was a high school internship.
Yeah, wow.
The head guy at that program, he came from UOP. He had been in Division I for a good amount of time, had been in a couple different places, was a head guy, and similar to Lead, wanted to bring that college strength and conditioning model into high school. So I was there January of 2019. By the time we got to June in the summer, I was running our freshman program. I got handled, like once again, handled a lot of responsibility and was able to build out my own program.
Wow. So what is it about internships? Because obviously this is something that's big if you want to get into the collegiate space. What do you think it is about internships that is so helpful for these guys?
I think just being able to see how things are done at the highest level. That's why I wanted to get into things. Like I said, very different from like a personal training route or a private sector route. I think those things are great. I honestly recommend it to our interns here. So first thing I tell our interns is, hey, if you don't want to be a strength and conditioning coach, this internship's gonna suck. Some of the best advice I got given to me as a young strength and conditioning coach was, don't do this job. I changed that up a little bit when I give that advice now. It's don't do this job unless you absolutely love it. For me, I can't see myself doing anything else. I can show up in pajamas and then yell at kids for 4 hours at a time.
It's a dream.
doesn't feel like work. So for me, the long hours, coming in early, finishing late, doesn't really feel like a big burden just because I love doing it so much. The internship life gives you experience to see, okay, like, where do I want to be? And sometimes it is private sector. It's like, hey, I get to see this guy. He shows up early in the morning, has the middle of the day off, and then shows back up, coach a few groups, and then gets to be able to go home to his family. Doesn't need to travel, doesn't need to do anything like that. That might be appealing to some people. I'm a 20-something-year-old male without kids or a dog. So, hey, if I'm traveling for a weekend, I can just do that. Hey, I want a GA ship in Georgia. I can just pick up and move. So it's just like there's pros and cons to both. But I think the internships give you insight into that and be able to actually see day to day what these guys are doing and see if it's for you.
Yeah, that's good. So how important do you think it is for these guys to be flexible? Because, I mean, that's what I hear a lot with these strength and conditioning coaches, right? They're moving almost once a year to a different position. Like, how important, if they really want to climb the ranks, how important is it for these young guys to be flexible and, like, moving and taking positions like that?
I think it really just depends. If you want to be a little bit more stable, it's like the Olympic side is great for that. Football, it's like you're not always in control of what's going on. Like, we can have a coaching change in December and then, hey, either I'm moving or I might be staying here. But that is uncertainty. It's just up to you. Like, if you're ready for that uncertainty, like I think I am, I'm down to move to Iowa, Indiana, Georgia, whatever it takes to get to that highest level of sport. So it's just, you gotta ask yourself, like, am I willing to do that? Because there obviously are other routes. It's like, well, we mentioned Blair a few times. He created his own thing. He owns his own gym. He is stable in that Roseville area, and he doesn't have to move unless he wants to.
Exactly. Cool. How would you, like, define sports science? What does it mean to you?
I think sports science is utilizing the technology available to you in order to either make programming decisions, monitoring decisions, or to profile.
What's your, like, selection process? And, like, you know, obviously we can sit here and this guy traumatized me with GPS data and spreadsheets.
We have
so,
a lot
like,
of GPS.
how do you sort through, you know, the valuable versus kind of just numbers, right? Like, data for data's sake versus, like, what's actually applicable.
Absolutely. Like, I think that's very important when we have so many streams of data coming in. Like, we're lucky enough to have force plates, VBT, GPS, 1080 data, and just figuring out what metrics are going to tell you the biggest picture or about what's going on with these athletes. So picking key metrics, like, I used to get caught up in the rabbit hole of, okay, we got 200 different metrics we can look at. I'm gonna look at 50 of them. And quickly got overwhelmed or feel like you're chasing your tail in a circle. So just picking 3 to 5 key metrics from each stream of data in order to make these programming decisions. If you're not doing anything with the data, you're probably just wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly. So what would you say those 3 to 5 metrics are? I guess you're mostly working with football now. And then how do those metrics vary to other sports? Kind of a two-part question.
So, like, we can go into force plate stuff to start. I think that's the now with Vault and these other. I guess I'll go other force plate companies that are so commercially available.
Yeah.
Those were what's going to be used a lot of times.
Yeah.
So with on our force plates, especially for football, I go by the ODS system, so outcome, driver, strategy.
Okay, yeah.
And then picking one of those metrics for everything. So jump height is our big outcome metric.
Yeah.
Peak power and concentric impulse at 100 milliseconds is our big driver metrics.
Yeah.
And then strategy, where they're going to go with like an MRSI.
Yeah.
If we want to dig deeper into things, we're either going to go with an eccentric duration or a contraction time, just to see, okay, how is this athlete varying day by day?
Yeah.
Like the outcome probably not going to change very much.
Yeah.
Athletes are going to find a way to bustle their way through some stuff or find a way. These guys are great athletes. You give them a task to achieve and they're going to find a way.
Exactly.
So the outcome's not going to change too much. Our driver metrics are what pretty much helps us save in our job. They're going to be able to tell us, okay, how is this athlete changing over time? So that peak power metric, we come in at the beginning of phase, we get to the end of the phase, how did that metric change? So we're able to see, okay, like did our program achieve the changes that we wanted to achieve?
Yeah.
We're going through a power phase, okay, did their power go up? We're going to do a strength phase, did their force go up?
Okay.
All these different things.
Yeah.
We're able to have enough time where we're able to individualize somewhat, put guys into different groups, whether it be FMS groups, hamstring groups, because we have our NOR board, obviously.
Yeah.
We're just gonna start working with the force frame a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then a lot of that stuff is gonna be our strategy metrics and help us see what's happening with fatigue over time. If I do my adduction, abduction, and I'm down a standard deviation or two, okay, what are the changes I need to make in the weight room so that they're able to go out to practice and be able to get everything they need out of practice and they're not able to break down throughout a long season. Obviously, I work primarily football.
Yeah.
It's a rough sport.
Yeah.
It's a rough sport, it's a long season, so being able to get guys to just blast throughout the season is going to stay healthy. Best ability is availability. Just get them to be available throughout the season. We had a really good year last year where our starters didn't really miss that much time. I think a big part of that was our monitoring piece and being able to utilize our data, reverse engineer our summer. It's a big thing that, like, we go through our whiteboard. You see my whiteboard up in my office, completely reverse engineered. Are from week 1 of camp to be able to see what we need to hit each week throughout summer.
Yeah, having those, that's great, So when it comes down to like all the different pieces of technology you're using, which, out of everything that you have, which do you feel like drives the most decisions? Or at least I shouldn't say drives, but informs the most decisions that you make?
I think you weigh things differently. So our GPS is gonna have, see what guys are hitting on high speed distance, see how much overall volume that they're getting, see how many accelerations and decelerations they're getting, see how dense our training sessions are, and be able to utilize that to say, okay, well, this is what they're doing on the field. Like I said, they're football players at the end of the day, so if we can alter some stuff in here based off of the numbers that we're seeing out there, we're gonna do it really quickly.